political side of this ceasefire with our panel. Joining me now, Andy Kroll from Mother Jones and Jonathan Strong from Roll Call. Hello, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Glad you're here.
Happy Good morning.
Things look good right now, 24 hours in, but how tenuous is this peace? I'll go to you first, Andy.
Well, it is agreement. It is a one-page understanding between the two parties brokered by the United States and Egypt. However, you saw the exiled leader of Hamas say that as long as Egypt abides by this agreement, we will too. But if they don't, our finger is on the trigger. And you have seen Palestinian terrorists in the past defy agreements like this, so it is very tenuous. It's very fragile at this point.
Sure, terrorists who may be affiliated with Hamas or not, one of their splinter groups. And listen, even Hillary Clinton has cautioned that this is not over yet. Let's listen.
Every step must move us toward a comprehensive peace for all the people of the region. There is no substitute for a just and lasting peace.
Jonathan, do you think the president's going to make a long-term peaceful resolution part of his second-term goals?
Well, you know, he may try to do that. I tend to be a pessimist that that's likely to happen, having seen so many failed attempts in the past. One of the really interesting things about this is, of course, the agreement is tenuous, but there's also a lot of talk from experts about the role of Iran in potentially supplying the rockets to Hamas. And that could play an interesting role in whether Israel decides to launch an attack on the nuclear facilities in Iran. So we not only have the tenuous agreement, but we could potentially have a major outbreak of escalation in the Middle East in a broader sense.
This ceasefire, it also really cemented the new relationship between the United States and the new Egyptian president, Mohamed Morsi. In fact, the New York Times is reporting that Morsi and the president spoke 3 times in one day, 6 times over a couple days, and the president told aides that he was impressed with the leader's pragmatic confidence. So do you think, Andy, this relationship can make a difference in the region?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Egypt is a linchpin for trying to achieve some kind of lasting peace in the Middle East. When President Mohamed Morsi was elected in June, coming out of the Muslim Brotherhood Party, there were a lot of concerns in the U.S. about, the direction of Egypt as an ally, whether they would be a reliable partner in the kinds of negotiations that we just saw this past week. Morsi seems to have walked a very fine line, but so far succeeded. On the one hand, he acted as a proxy for Hamas in the peace talks with the United States, and on the other hand, Egypt and Morsi stood by their 30-year agreement, their peace agreement with Israel, and he did it was a balancing act for President Morsi, and President Obama praised him for being pragmatic, for sort of sticking to the facts, and for really helping to get this deal done.
Yeah, I actually have to go real quick, but Jonathan, based on you said you were somewhat pessimistic about Israel and Gaza figuring it out. With regard to the U.S. and Egypt, you think this is a good start?
Yeah, this is actually like a really surprisingly good sign that he would play this role. I mean, just to underscore this, he hasn't named Israel. I mean, he hasn't referred to it by name since he took office.
Okay, Andy Kroll, Jonathan Strong. Thanks, guys, for coming in. Appreciate it.